So I have seen several different MMO related news websites and MMO YouTube channels mention Project TL recently. I have done several different videos on the game over the last year, and honestly, I was pretty much the only person talking about it. And I will admit, I did begin to feel a little lonely, like I was the only one that even remembered this game existed. Until now, that is, which brings me to my question: why are people talking about the game now? Has there been some kind of large new information dump, an announcement that would bring the game to everyone's attention? You know what? Kind of. See, back in July, I did a video where I addressed the lack of information concerning the game. It had been so long since we'd received any form of update from NCSoft after they had opted to rebrand the game from Lineage Eternal, and Project TL was beginning to drift into people's memory, especially when other titles like Lost Ark, Blue Protocol, and even the upcoming Grand Saga were receiving much more regular updates. However, as I stated back at the beginning of December, NCSoft was required to supply their quarterly financial report to investors, and when they did, they revealed that they were still hard at work on Project TL and that it was actually much closer to releasing than we'd all thought. More specifically, while NCSoft had no intention of releasing the game in 2020, they did very much plan on having a publicly accessible closed beta during 2020. Yeah, back in December 2019, they had stated that there was an expected release date for 2020. And finally, recently, they went on to elaborate a little more on that. You guys know that it is my duty, my solemn oath, to make sure that you guys are all kept updated with every new bit of information regarding the plethora of MMOs that are currently in development. So it is with that knowledge, that responsibility, that I go on to reveal the following. NCSoft has reaffirmed last year's statement that there is going to be some form of test this year. They didn't confirm whether the test would still be specifically a closed beta test like they were claiming initially, but they did go on to mention that it would be a test phase, and if everything went along according to their expectations, they would announce a console port. Yeah, no joke. Project TL, which was initially Lineage Eternal, was expected to only be a PC title, a PC exclusive, just like Lost Ark is. However, NCSoft confirmed that not only are they still on track to release a test phase during 2020, but they also went on to state that they would have information next year regarding the actual full release onto both PC and consoles. They did apologize for the lack of information, the lack of communication pertaining to the game and its development process. Honestly, I still kind of find it a little bit unusual that there is so little information publicly available pertaining to the game. Gameplay? Yeah, not really. New trailers after their initial announcement? Nope. Do we even have a confirmed list of exactly what the updates have been targeting? Not at all. I mean, I am no marketing expert, but this is definitely a very interesting way of going about hyping up your game's release. Like, don't get me wrong, I have been excited for this game more so than I was ever excited for Lost Ark. Like, when people were hyping up Lost Ark as the next big MMORPG, I was sitting here just going to myself, oh my god, a new Lineage title? Yes. God damn it, the amount of times I hit my microphone, I swear to God. But anyway, I was sitting here and I was going, a new Lineage title in the Lineage franchise? Yes, please. I think I just spat everywhere when I said that. I'm sorry, like, in advance if you guys saw the saliva particles just eject from my mouth then. But I mean, like, that just goes to show you the levels of excitement that I had when this was announced. Speaking of, while a lot of us are sitting here excited, I'm well aware some of you are unaware of what Project TL even is. Other than initially being the main competition to Lost Ark, Project TL is an upcoming South Korean isometric MMORPG from NCSoft. Or at least at the time it was an isometric MMO. With all of the overhauls, who knows, it might be a completely different game by the time it actually releases later this year. Supposedly, the game is completely open world, features a selection of varying classes to choose between. I'm not sure if the classes are going to be gender locked. This is a South Korean game after all, and if there's anything we've learned, it's that South Korean developers love gender locking their classes in games. That is something that I will never understand. And you know what? I've given up trying to. Hopefully though, they understand if they ever want to release this game outside of South Korea to the West, in North America, in Europe, they comprehend that we do not like gender-locked classes. The game will be completely free to play, much like Lost Ark and other Lineage games in the franchise. This will be launching into a test phase later this year, but that does not in any way mean that the game will also be launching this year. As they opted to not include the type of test, whether it be alpha or beta, we have no idea exactly how far along through development the game actually is. The test phase will likely be for South Korea only, and Westerners will be IP blocked from accessing it, much like we have been for every South Korean title pretty much ever. But that does not mean that we still won't be able to access it. If you use a VPN, I myself use ExitLag personally, I have a link to that in the description in the pinned comment. If you want to go ahead and use that, then you can definitely get around IP blocks like this and sign up for the beta test in advance. Otherwise, you're just gonna have to wait like the rest of us. But please do not be of the impression that the game is launching this year. While the alpha or beta test will be launching this year, the official Project TL title likely won't release until 2021. And there we have it. All of this excitement, all of these different outlets talking about the game are due to NCSoft just reaffirming their intentions of releasing the game into some form of playable test phase later this year. Do note that NCSoft also confirmed in December 2019 that they would be holding a closed beta test sometime during the first half of 2020. And while there could be any number of reasons why that didn't pan out, their guesstimates are not nearly as set in stone as they might have you believe. So while they do definitely have plans of releasing a test phase sometime later this year, don't get your hopes up too high. Setbacks happen, and with so many developers working from home right now, it is safe to say that schedules are definitely a little out of whack and are definitely more difficult to maintain. But if things go according to plan, then you know what? More power to them. I'm still very excited for the game, and knowing that progress is still moving along is more than enough for me. By the time the game finally releases, it might be something entirely different to what we expect. But in the meantime, all we can do is just sit here, wait, and see what happens. Like always, I will keep all of you guys updated with any news pertaining to Project TL, regardless of how big or small. But that's just my opinion, my impressions of the state of the game right now. What do you guys think though? Let me know down in the comments below and let's talk about it. Anyway guys, that is it for me. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to subscribe for more content like this, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.